Hi guys, my name is Lelasophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things New York City and art, then I have some fun videos for you. Guys, I have heard that the girlies are being honest and transparent and divulging all of the juicy details that we all want to know about their surgeries, their plastic surgeries, their weight loss surgeries, okay? And I am doing, / have been doing, you know, a little bit ahead of the curve. I've been doing the same, okay? Giving you all of my juicy details. Today, I'm going to continue that, let you guys know how I'm doing, and also give you some of my tips and tricks as to how I feel like I had one of the most incredible experiences of my life recovering after a major surgery. First and foremost, if you guys are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you in all of my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram at lelasophia jewelry. I put out videos 3 days a week, and so I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Okay, again, as I've kind of hinted at, I have many videos already in my channel going over my personal experience, but just in case anybody is new here, hi, my name is Lelasophia, and I just recently had, I should do the math, but I think I'm exactly 3 months and about like a week, 2 weeks maybe into my recovery, and I'm done. I'm fully recovered. I got the okay at 9 weeks or even 8.5 weeks. I am so grateful. Again, juicy details, so if anybody doesn't like the talk of surgeries or procedures, now is your chance to not listen to this part or skip ahead a little bit. But for those of you guys who know my journey, I've talked about my experience on Ozempic. I've talked about my experience being plus size in the luxury industry a lot. I exist here on this platform in this little community because I'm trying so hard to be the representation that I never had. And along this journey, I don't know, I just honestly, I got to a point where I understood kind of medically and physically, spiritually, emotionally, yes, let's all roll our eyes, that I had a major decision and I had an opportunity, and I'm so grateful that I took it, to essentially take the next step and get an actual skin removal surgery, because I've kind of, I don't know, I guess medically I'm maybe considered a massive weight loss patient or kind of a lifelong weight loss patient. I'm sure I'm considered some sort of horrible, you know, some whatever they call me on the obesity scale. And so yeah, essentially transparently, I have been a person existing in a larger body since I was a child. And I noticed my apron belly first, especially when between the ages of 11 and 13. And so for the last literally 20 years, I have tried everything in my power to lose weight naturally before trying Ozempic, to whatever, kind of, you know, have this old trope about working things away and dieting things away, things as in myself, my larger body, my loose skin. And long story short, came to the conclusion, which was very helped by a couple different surgeons, came to the conclusion that skin removal surgery was really the only option for me. Had the most amazing consultations, which I'll tell you guys about, and booked my appointment quite literally 6 weeks later. And I had one of the most incredible experiences. For anybody who's new, again, going over all the details for my normal subscribers, sorry to repeat myself, but technically speaking, I had a paniculectomy on paper. That's what was, you know, legally on my little chart and what I paid for. But my surgeon is incredible and did kind of a hybrid even after. He was like, I basically gave you a tummy tuck, but without any of the muscle tightening. So if we know the difference, I've gone over it in at least 1 or 2 videos. A tummy tuck kind of takes any loose skin away, but also really more so addresses any muscle that has separated, called diastasis recti. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I could be totally wrong. But it also really addresses any muscle that has been kind of separated, you know, either by massive weight gain and or weight loss, or by pregnancy. And so a tummy tuck kind of really helps to, you know, I don't know if this visual is helping, but it literally sews together kind of that midline of your abdominal muscles, and I've seen some insane, incredible results from that. My surgery was different, but the reason why he called it a hybrid was because I had, which now I know the number, which is really crazy, and yes, I'm putting so much out there on the internet, but I had 12 pounds. Yes, I know. 12 pounds of excess skin on my lower belly. So that's called your pannus, aka a paniculectomy, the removal of that skin. I had 12 pounds of that, okay? And the kind of extra part that my surgeon did was, instead of going like a traditional paniculectomy below the belly button line, which my first consultation with a surgeon, that's actually what he was going to do. And I'm very grateful that I went with my second option, because he went above the belly button line, pull everything down, and I now have a new belly button, and it's really crazy. So that's my experience, just to kind of give you guys, I don't know, I feel like I need to give these details so that I'm not hiding anything. I'm so grateful that I don't even know that I have this amazing community of people that I've been, you know, cultivating over the last 2.5 years on my channel, because it really, 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 you guys all made me feel so comfortable and really want to share. And quite literally, 2 weeks after my surgery, a couple interesting things happened. Remy Bader went on, well, I'm sure it happened, obviously, it was pre-recorded months ago, but there seems to be something in the air here. People are really craving this, because literally I remember being not even 2 weeks, and that's when Remy Bader and Khloe Kardashian's episode dropped on Khloe in Wonderland. Is that what it's called? Please help me if I'm wrong, but on the Khloe Kardashian podcast. And then just a couple weeks ago, Kylie Jenner posted every single detail that I would understand. I'm sure there's more details, but you know, us us civilians don't know anything about actual plastic surgery talk. I've learned more now in the last couple months than I ever thought that I would know. It like quite literally shattered the internet. I think in a really positive way. I love Gen Z so much. I love us millennials so much. I think we like applauded her, and everybody was obsessed for not only giving all of the specs that like, I didn't know that that's what happened during a breast augmentation, not only gave all the specs, but also her doctor. And so I feel like we're in an era of transparency. The current zeitgeist, I feel, is really moving towards just like a very, I think, much more so accepting place. And so I'm excited to continue sharing that. I think I started over the last, it's been, I think I put my first video out literally 2 weeks post-op. So this is now number 3. And long story short, I had to give all of my details because I feel like I need to make it known that I did have a major procedure. It wasn't as intense as a tummy tuck. I'm sure there are many more intense, many more less intense procedures. And so mine was maybe somewhere in the middle. However, literally every single checkup, this is, by the way, this is not me like bigging up myself. This is me telling the juicy details and all of the really intimate and really, really, really personal details of all of the incredibly, in my brain, in my eyes, of all of the really, really, really hard, sometimes intensive work that I put in literally prior. Some things 10 years ago, some things 2 months leading up, some things literally day of, some things right after, and then of what I would say all of the very intense, sometimes overwhelming, sometimes often emotional work that I put in literally before, during, and after my procedure, that I think genuinely made it so that this experience was like far exceeded my positive expectations, and also made it like genuinely one of the best experiences of my life. I will stand behind that. I am so grateful. And it literally changed the way that I look at myself and the way that I act towards myself and my thought patterns towards myself, but perhaps not in the way that you would think. I think what I was probably going to say at a certain point is that at every single checkup, a lot of us, I'm sure many, way too many, far too many of us, plus size, larger bodied people who just happen to exist in, today's world, are treated a very interesting certain type of way. And I was told that my recovery would be okay, but there were things that went along with just purely my weight and my BMI that they were like, yeah, it might be a little bit more challenging for you, it might be tougher, it might be harder, and none of those things happened. And I'm so grateful that I had absolutely no complications. I went into it with a really, truly clear mind, and I really think that that showed in my recovery, like from an actual medical standpoint. And so, with a disclaimer that I will give in 1 second, here are the things that I did to especially prepare, but then also like kind of align myself with this experience. So my little disclaimer, I'm completely in no way, shape, or form a medical professional. None of this is advice. I'm not discouraging or encouraging plastic surgery in any sort of way. I'm just saying you do you, okay? And this is all completely my own opinion and my own experience. So take everything as you will, but this is not advice. This is not me, you know, saying go off and do this, or saying that this thing worked and so it's 1000% gonna work for you. Everybody is different, especially I'm understanding now. So these tips and tricks are just completely personal. Take from them what you will. Okay, because I have some like very in-depth emotional videos already, I'll point you to those if you guys want more of my, again, more of my history, again, more of my very intimate experience. I will point you to those videos. And so these I'm going to try to go quickly through each point and yet still kind of get the message across. So if there's anything that you guys want to know more details of or more intimate stories of or something, message me, okay? And then maybe we'll do a part 2 to this little series. My first tip. This was one that was so challenging for me. In fact, I really feel like it's like what people say about going to the gym. Like literally the first step out of your door is the hardest step, because the second you're out of your door, you're like, oh, this feels amazing. I am ready for the day. I was gonna say I did not comprehend, but really truly I couldn't comprehend how much shame I had about my own body for probably, again, maybe those 2 decades of my life. And so I really found that the hardest part and also the best step to take was actually talking about the part of my body that I wanted to change. I am now so grateful. This is one of the most important parts. I am now so grateful that I waited as long as I did, because for the last 10 years, I think I probably realized between the age of 15 and 19, maybe 21, those were ages that I definitely lost weight, and then my belly actually didn't go anywhere. In fact, the older I got, the more weight I lost, the more my belly kind of just hung and literally didn't move at all. It in fact kind of just stayed the same anytime I lost weight. It was such a point of shame for me for so long. Honestly, probably until I was about 27, 28, 29, okay? This was a really long time coming, and up to literally only maybe 3-ish years ago when I had a horrible experience with Ozempic. Again, I'll link all these videos down below. Horrible, one of the worst experiences I've heard of with Ozempic. I lost so much weight, but it made me so physically and emotionally ill, and truly I'm like, I can't believe that I stuck it out for as long as I did, all for the sake of, I want to be in a smaller body, I want to try to lose weight. This is the last, you know, in addition to the crazy diets and workouts and like restrictive eating that I've been doing for my entire life, this is gonna work and this is gonna be the thing. And after that experience, having such a hard time kind of recovering, especially emotionally, but also physically, okay, my digestive system is still not the same, okay? We'll just say that TMI right here, right now. After that experience, I think I finally clicked in my brain that like I needed help, that I needed to talk about this. And so I started asking the wrong doctors, but I still started asking doctors, like, is this something that would work for me? Is it safe to do before I don't have any babies? Is it safe to do before pregnancy? I really can't wait, and I'm very excited for that phase in my life. And so that was my number one thing. And the second I started asking, again, maybe the wrong pathway, but the right intention. The second I started kind of putting little probes out there of, okay, it doesn't seem like anything else is going to help. And I didn't really understand how much I was like physically suffering. the first step was me actually saying, this is a part of my body that actually isn't gonna go anywhere until I have a surgery. I kind of thought the only thing for me would be a tummy tuck, and so I'm so grateful that this other option existed, but that's the wording that I had for it. And the second then, not only I started asking doctors, but I started talking about it with my therapist, and again, this feels like an ad, but it's not. Regardless of whether you do or don't have a therapist, it's more so about having somebody that you deeply, deeply trust to talk to about it, because I understand what an absolute immense privilege it is to talk about something that's really, for me personally, was like immensely scary. And again, I didn't even have the word to say that what I was experiencing was like true, deeply rooted childhood level shame about myself. The second I had probably my first, I had always talked about my body, but specifically talking about my belly for the first time with my therapist, I was like, oh my God. I think I struggle a lot with saying things out loud because it feels too scary, and I only do somatic therapy. And that first session, I was like, I can do this. I swear I can do this. I felt positive. I knew that I only wanted to be in a place in my life to do this where I was going to be loving towards myself. This is the point that gets to how this genuinely changed my like thought patterns, changed my relationship with myself, because it's not, oh my God, this massive, massive skin is gone and now I can live my life and I look so much better. It's literally the opposite. It gave me so much compassion towards myself for those 20 years that I was struggling so hard. So much? Is that how, I was struggling so much, excuse me. I just like see myself through such a different lens now, and I knew that I only wanted to do this with the most loving energy. And I think any time other than now, I truly would not have been ready to do that. And again, this is not shaming anybody or at all, but I think a lot of the stories I've seen where people have really, really, really challenging recoveries are like, I hated this part about myself, and then I woke up and I wasn't sure, and then I missed the old version of me and I'm confused. And I think that those stories like those scared me so much, where I wanted to do the deep, dark, terrifying work. I know I'm like cheery and happy now, but my God, some of those conversations and just like time spent with myself was really, really, really difficult. So my very first, this is like true just advice, because this could be about anything. This could have nothing to do with a change that you want to make or a surgery that you want to have. Literally just talking about it with somebody that you love and trust deeply, I think is a literal, like, changes the chemistry of your brain, saying things out loud. One thing that I'm really proud of myself for, I'm proud of myself for all of these things, but one thing I'm really proud for is the fact that I was knowledgeable, even like little tiny things that either a nurse or the office manager or the random overnight nurse would be like, how do you know about this? What? I think that there's a fine line between overindulging with all of the resources that we have today. So this one especially take with a grain of salt, but doing your research on what is available. And then also, in addition to that, getting multiple consultations is a major, major, major point. And I'm so grateful because, again, January of this year, I had my surgery in literally March, okay? January of this year, I was ready to go with the first surgeon that I saw, because I was like, this is the best case scenario. I went in and I asked about multiple parts of my body. I gave my whole story, that this excess skin is nothing new, that this has been here, that I've tried everything, that I've done these really long, intense journeys. And he gave me what I tried so hard to let go of expectations. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll get an arm lift, and then we'll start there and see how I recover, and then we'll work our way up to a tummy tuck. Nope, he said, a paniculectomy is perfect for you. Let's do that. That's probably the major thing that I would do for you. I was so terrified to get opposite advice that I was like, book it. I was so ready to book it with him, and thank God for multiple adults in my life who are very close to me for saying, absolutely not. You're going to get another opinion. And that I did. And it was far, like, even more confirming, I think, in so many ways that this is actually the only procedure I would do now. You're a perfect candidate for it, and your results will be literally life-changing. My doctor said that every step of the way. He's a little, you know, doctors can be difficult. He's a little bit more harsh about it, perhaps, and many times said, oh, I look so much better, but that loving foundation that I had for myself, I knew not to be sad or upset or angry or shameful about myself prior to March 10th, prior to my surgery. And so regardless of that little story that I told for absolutely no reason, I am literally so grateful that I did my research enough to know, you know, not to scare myself and see the worst case scenario recovery stories, but to know little things that, you know, could be hiccups or how a recovery is with a surgery this major, but also to know not only in my soul that that was the right decision, but that medically it sounded like the safest, best route. I am so grateful that I did the research that I did and did not just go with the first person that told me what I wanted to hear. Okay, this is going to be the most, I think, emotional meets spiritual one, because this is nothing. I actually have heard that this is, I mean, again, allegedly, I actually have seen some research that like these things actually medically do make a difference, but again, allegedly. For this portion, this is really bizarre and really weird, but I found this, other than my incredible, amazing savior of a therapist who literally does the most amazing work with me somatically. Other than that, this step was the oddest and the most, I think, most positively benefiting. Again, from my therapist, thank you, shout out, because I love you so much. I'm so grateful, such an important person in my life. My amazing therapist, a couple, maybe like, as soon as definitely after, like a little while after I had decided that this was the right thing to do, a couple weeks leading up to my surgery, she was like, would it be helpful if I recommend an audiobook for you? Because there's all different types of audiobooks. Again, I'm sure there are not good ones out there, but this one was an amazing one, so I will link it down below. Not sponsored, but this is just amazing, and I will recommend this to everybody in my life. Who knew that there are audiobooks for these things? She recommended, long story short, recommended a surgery-specific audiobook that was kind of I think it's 3 parts, but the third part is like kind of like a meditation section. And so there's really 2 talking parts, and you're supposed to do it. I don't know if there's like a time frame, but I did it the week leading up to my surgery every single night. And then 2 weeks post-op, I did the second part, because the first part is kind of actually like your surgery details. And when I tell you, I was so scared to listen to this because same thing as the first point, like saying things out loud, being really nervous. I am somebody who I don't like a doctor, and I love what they do, and thank you God, amen, they're amazing, but I have not had the best experiences in my life, okay? Being a plus-size, mixed-race woman of color in America, in New York, is often not the safest space for us in a doctor's office, and so I have had really challenging experiences in my life. Oh my God, an operating room? Hello, that's like one of the scariest things to me. And so actually even just listening to the first like minute of this audiobook, I was like, oh my God, this is so scary. And I quickly got over that fear, and I actually deeply listened. I think I maybe took it slow. Maybe I just did the first part for like a night or 2 and then went on to the second part. I deeply listened and soaked in everything that this amazing narrator or writer, I'm not sure if she narrates it and wrote it, but this amazing person is kind of talking you through. It is the weirdest experience one of the weirdest experiences truly I've ever had. You're supposed to listen to it in almost right when you're about to go to sleep, in kind of a lucid dreaming state. And the first part of it literally details you seeing yourself in an operating room and what that would be like. That was a little bit of exposure therapy for me. Okay, this is really happening. Let's look at it positively. And there are such weird, kind of crazy details that, again, if you're a medical professional, you know way more than me, but really interesting details that I would have never thought of, that she kind of walks you through, and you like essentially prepare your body for a surgery. And I swear to God, it is the craziest thing. Again, not advocating or recommending this, but just explaining my own experience. My God, it was the craziest like dream state to then reality experience, because it literally goes through like, my body is doing amazing under anesthesia. My body is cooperating perfectly for the doctors. The doctors are saying, oh my God, she's doing an amazing job. And I woke up and I had no nausea at all. And I was so clear, and I didn't feel as much pain as I thought I was gonna feel. And I'm just calm and happy. Every single one of those things I experienced. I swear, the craziest thing. And again, I don't want to like, I'm sure there are people who do all of the amazing work pre and then something happens. And I guess my spiritual self would just say that that's what we each are meant to go through. But for me, truly preparing myself in a way that I was really afraid to at first, and meditating on it, and like having somebody guide you through something that's so scary, I swear had actual real world cellular benefits. And the second part to the audiobook I think is really incredible. It kind of works then more with, the first one is a guided imagery, and then the second one is more so forming words and things that you can say to yourself pre and post-op that help you kind of align with this new reality. And I just genuinely feel like it was such a nice thing to kind of touch back onto, like right when I got home and was recovering. It was a nice thing to have some sort of familiarity, and also know that it really, truly, this entire experience, I swear, grounded me so much into the moment, because I'm someone with absolutely tremendous anxiety, and anxiety is literally just future, right? And so this entire experiencing, even just feeling pain and feeling discomfort, and especially the first week of not being able to move, was really challenging for me. Just lying in the same position, barely being able to help yourself and use the bathroom correctly, and all these weird things that are really, really, that were so scary for me. It was nice to have something familiar, even just to play if I was having an anxious moment, or I was having a bad moment, or I was like, I need to go run a marathon moment. That was my biggest thing. My mom is probably laughing now, because I was like, get me out of this bed. I need to go exercise. It's having something to ground myself, even multiple weeks post-op, I am so grateful for. Hello, I completely forgot to say this, but this was one of the most important points, and something that I still to this day do and really helped me. Along a similar vein, I also started, since I'm putting so much out there, I might as well totally stop being afraid of how I'm gonna be perceived in this video. But all of that is to say, I started literally talking to myself. I started talking to my belly specifically. And then kind of in a post-op way, I started talking to my literal cells, and thanking my cells, and thanking myself and my higher self, and everybody, thanking my doctors on a daily basis, multiple times a day, thanking myself, thanking my cells for all of the amazing work that they're doing. And I swear, something about that practice has really helped me, honestly, now, again, similarly, just stay grounded and connected to this new reality. But especially, I think, during, I don't know, if you're already going this step of doing an audiobook, or doing a guided imagery, or doing some sort of kind of meditation on, aligning your brain, body, soul, emotional self, I really think that there's a lot of positive benefits to actually talking out loud, even if you feel crazy, talking out loud to your body. And I still to this day do it. It's a totally new practice for me, and I love it. My last little point that I have, I think, is, for me, the most current one, obviously. I'm so grateful that I, again, like living in the moment, truly grounding yourself to like these crazy milestones that happen almost exponentially the opposite way. Like the first week, you have all these insane milestones on an hourly basis. You literally go from okay, I can barely get up myself, to the next day, okay, I think I can, you know, I can use the bathroom by myself. There are these things that are so monumental that it really helps center yourself. So I still am taking that in, but the thing now that I'm really having to still ground and remind myself of is also the same way that we think about, you know, intaking negative information sparingly and slowly and gently. Again, this is clearly a video of me just telling all my therapy stories, but my therapist calls it like menuing things. And so even when something is so positive, I still menu things. I have all of these little kind of like mentally noted checkpoints and tips and tricks that I've worked on for years now that really help ground me in an anxious moment. And she describes it to me like a buffet, and I love this. I love this imagery because a buffet, right? Like, who doesn't love a buffet? Everything could be positive. Everything is amazing. You have the most beautiful, incredible, you know, first, second, third course options in front of you. Everything is so positive, but if you were to take everything at once, you'd get incredibly sick. You'd feel horrible. And so even menuing positive things, even just acknowledging, like taking in really amazing positive information in slowly and being gentle with myself is what I've found to be one of the most helpful things, because in an interesting way, I was really nervous that all of a sudden I'd wake up after surgery and be like, oh my God, not feel like myself and feel crazy and feel, I was really, really, really nervous of all those things. I thought I was going to be like, who am I? I was so scared, and all of the work that I did prior, I think, really helped align that. But also one thing that I wasn't expecting was how much I actually felt like my pain level was completely tolerable. Again, ask my mother. Right when I woke up, I was like, yes, God, I can do this. I literally immediately was so grateful. I don't know, you just, again, you're so scared prior. You're like so terrified. And after that positive like realization, one thing that's really interesting is that kind of from like a very intrinsic level, your pain and also numbness a lot, because that's just what I'm experiencing now. Obviously, I haven't had pain for a long time, but pain level and your numbness actually kind of help like ground your mind-body connection with your new whatever it is, even if it's something really tiny or something that you're, you know, looking to change, even if it's something cosmetic, something non-surgical, or whatever that's called, invasive, non-invasive, that you're experiencing. Like your body really goes into, I feel my body like went into primal mode and was like, okay, we're healing. We are healing. Don't worry. I got it. And through that process, through my body really doing its thing and healing, it helped align me with my new body, because it was a massive change. Again, 12 pounds is way more than I don't know what I was expecting. For some reason, the number 8 was in my brain, but it was a lot for me and just a major change. I literally at least lost half of my, you know, what's that called, profile with. And so that was kind of a weird tangent that I just went on, but essentially slowly aligning my brain-body connection has been really, really helpful for me, because in so many ways, I feel like I could cry, but I'm not going to. In so many ways, this is like so far past like what my 11, what my 19, what my 25, what my 29-year-old self would have dreamed of. It's like so past the most idyllic, positive like reality. It has so surpassed that in the most beautiful, positive way. And even just in taking that information, I know, sad, or whatever, I don't know if it's sad, but like it's intense. Taking that information slowly, I have the craziest experience now that I really truly think justice for people with like myself, because there's so many, not only articles, but just styles and designers or whatever of clothing that I could never have fit into before that I now have access to. And I'm still plus size, okay? I still have loose skin on many other parts of my body. I'm still always going to be a plus size person. And just that one, like, it's crazy. The 20 years that I thought about it, this one part of my body was literally removed in 2 hours. So it's this insane experience now that is so positive, but also really overwhelming and gives me grief for my previous self and how much I suffered and how much I wasn't given access to things that are fun like fashion. I have a luxury YouTube channel, you know what I mean? I'm like, it is really overwhelming in the most positive way, and also comes with a lot of really complex emotions. And so this long story is to say, take that in drips, in literal drips. Take it very slowly and take it only, you know, to your comfort. I'd say for 2 months, I only bought clothes that I had to because I didn't understand. I just didn't have any expectations. I just was like, this is the right thing. I'm putting my trust into the universe. I'm putting my trust into this doctor and everybody who is here. I was really, there's an element of surrender that's integral to something like this. I didn't understand that absolutely none of my wardrobe would work post-op. I had no idea that literally all of my clothing would either completely not fit anymore, would totally be wrong. Like, I did things that I didn't even think of. And for the first like 2 months, I kind of was like, okay, you could overindulge and get really excited and buy things that you always wanted to buy and look at, and that might be too much too fast. And so I've only over the last like 6 weeks started slowly building up my wardrobe, other than things that I just had to leave the house, into things that I'm like, oh, you know, I can buy Wardrobe NYC leggings. What? Like, there are things that are mind-blowing to me. And so just taking that literally in doses, taking that so slowly, so gently has been integral to my kind of, I don't know, again, aligning my brain, my emotional self, my spiritual self with my actual physical self. And yeah, I hope that any of this, even just one point of this, helps. I truly have seen such a vast, really extensive, almost opposing in some ways, scope of people's experiences post-op. There's some of my favorite people that I've followed on the internet, some for years, that I didn't know had wildly traumatic experiences, and some that had amazing, easy, breezy, perfect experiences. And so I hope that adding to this conversation just like gives you, I don't know, gives you some peace or some alignment. And yeah, any questions, I'm happy to give like intimate, crazy details. And so DM me, whatever you want to do. I can't wait to hear all of your questions, thoughts, comments, whatever. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Bye guys.